Hello and welcome, and in this video I'm going to be making, in this attempt, my first selection out of what I'm hoping to be, well, we'll see how the first 100 go, but I'd like to get 100 in about 300 days, or average one selection every 3 days. And then maybe throw in, and I'll even add another opinion play in for mixed martial arts. And these are ones that I think are good, but you bet less if you bet. However, one of them is a Robert Tonyan prop as a strong play, that is. And the Green Bay Packers versus the Carolina Panthers football game on Saturday. I have 4 different plays, possibly. Robert Tonyan, over under. They say 3.5 catches for 39.5 yards. Plus 159, yes, on the touchdown. Minus 253, no. And the longest reception in at 18.5 yards. I'm very pro Robert Tonyan, so it's an overplay. And I like all the overs. But the worst one, I think, and they're all good, probably between over 39.5 and yes to the touchdown. The receptions I really love. That's it's going to be over the longest reception, but that's the play of 18.5. So he's going to catch at least the ball for 19 yards or more, at least once. That's the bet. But I do think he's going to catch 5-6 balls in the game. For maybe about, and I love him in daily fantasy. In my millionaire maker lineup, he will be my tight end. A line of, I think, about 6 catches, 5, 6, maybe even 7 catches. And don't be surprised if he goes near the 60, 70 yard mark and gets a touchdown as well. That's probably on the stat line that I'm going to go for. Now, he's playing the Carolina Panthers, and this is a combination of both how Robert Tonyan, or 3 things actually, a combination of 3 things. One, how Robert Tonyan has been playing lately. The opponent of the matchup that he's up against in the Carolina Panthers. And really these numbers, like only 18.5 for the longest. We don't got an over-under at 4 or 4.5, which might be more realistic. Receiving yards, should we really hit closer to 50? And then 159 for the touchdown, maybe 1 plus 110. I mean, are these really generous, awesome numbers? And even at plus 110, I'm like, oh my goodness, plus 110 is like if he hits 50%, you're still profiting. And if they were to play 16 games, would he get 8 touchdowns? And maybe, would he get 9, 10, 11? I don't know. It could be, I don't know, maybe not 9, 10, 11, but wow, it's I think a good selection in taking it. So let's take a look at Robert Tonyan here. And I got a DraftKings screen just to show some statistics up in here. He's on the season, 46 catches for 533 yards. So therefore, he's averaging a little over 10 yards a catch. 44 yards a game is his average. 9 touchdowns. So you can see he's been a touchdown machine this year. And in fantasy points, that's 12.8 fantasy points per game. When we look at his game log, he's coming off of games where he's just catching everything pretty much. In the last 4, he's had 20 targets and he's just missed one of them. 19 of 20. Last game he caught 36 yards against Detroit. 39 before that. 67 before that, and 44 before that. The longest, only 11 last week, but 25, 39, and 25 of his long. So it's good to see him able to bring in some nice long receptions along the way. And he's got a touchdown each of his last 4 games to go along with it as well. Now before that, 3 of 4 for 33, no major, and the long of 23. Then only 1 catch in the San Francisco game for 5 yards without getting in. Minnesota, 5 of 7 for 79 yards, no major, and 45 yards. Against Houston, 2 catches, or 2 of 2 for 32, and he did have a 31 yard and a 1-yarder, I suppose, as well. Then 3 of 4 for 25 yards and 11 as his biggest, no major. 6 for 98 yards, 27 long, and 3 majors. Then we have 5 for 50 yards, 16 longest, and a major. Another game with a major, too. 3 in a row there. Against Detroit, 2 two of three for 25 yards, 14 long in a major. And Minnesota, well, I mean, whatever on that one. I don't know if he even played that game or how much he would have played it. But he has been obviously a major integral part of this team. Okay, here's some statistics of what tight ends have been doing against Carolina over the last 6 games. Denver's tight end, Thumagil, I don't even know how to pronounce it. Not like he's a great tight end before. And when I'm going through the box score of all these games, I'm seeing tight ends as like the top 1, 2, 3 catchers of every game. It's just, the tight ends are just dominating. So Fumalgi gets 4 of 53 for no touchdowns with a long of 29. And then we have Kyle Rudolph of the Minnesota Vikings, 8 catches for 68 yards and no touchdowns and a long of 25. Tyler Hawkinson of Detroit, 4 catches for 68, no touchdowns and a long of 35. Tampa Bay going with the 2 tight end beast system. Rob Gronkowski, 2 of 51 for a touchdown and a 44 long. And Cameron Brate, 3 of 31 for a touchdown and a 19 long. Travis Kelce had a decent game, 10 of 159, no touchdowns and 44. Didn't get in the end zone, interesting. And Hunter Hurst, 5 of 54 for no touchdowns and a long of 18. Which is a total over the last, of all these combined. At least I might have made a math mistake, but I don't think so. 36 catches for 484 yards and 2 touchdowns. Only one game tight end scored against him, but 36 divided by 6 is 6. 360 times 10 is 360. And then you got 124, which is like 1/3 of that number. So it's like 13. As far as an average. So 6 catches with an average of 13 yards a reception. Okay. So if that's the case, we have an over-under for 18.5 at the long, and that's it. Okay. 39.5. I'd have to think that the long number should be closer to 25, 24 even. I mean, really, is that number like way off? As I mentioned it, I think yesterday or the day before, I think it was yesterday, that they as bookmakers are writing a test. We'll see if they get it right or not. I think they got that one wrong on the Robert Tonyan situation. So, as a teacher in the game, which is basically sports better, when you see that they're wrong, well, you got to bet it. Well, if you're playing the game, that is, of course. There's multiple ways of playing. You can sprinkle on a little bit of everything. I went on the longest reception. To me, I think that's got the best value, best chances of all the groups. Maybe it's a touchdown might be the worst prop of the bunch at plus 159 for the yes, or over 0.5. But that's that. Now, free opinion play. Well, let's just take a look at a bunch of other. I don't got much more. And it's going to be a mixed martial arts or UFC on that of Rob Font. He's plus 130 is what I got. Anything at plus 125 or better is what I like. And once you get to plus 120 or lower, not really. I think at worst case scenario, it's a coin flip. And I'm really just tailing Johnny the Greek from Wager Talk. But this is one of the guys on the upper end of high respects that I have. And he's talking about people that he's respecting, that he's liking within it. His MMA record right now is just fantastic. He's also got a play too on the Philadelphia game over the total of 49 in NFL. As another opinion, he's done very well with his best bets this year. And I've been looking at the game for Jalen Hurts. Ooh, I was on the tip of this for making a play for Jalen Hurts to not throw an interception in this game against whoever's the game on coming up this weekend. I can't forget his opponent offhand, Arizona. Jalen Hurts. I've done a little bit of research. I do a lot of these. I did research on all this stuff, obviously, but this is researching the person on the Rob Font selection, but as far as Jalen Hurts is concerned, I looked at a lot of his college stats. He seems to throw an interception literally hardly ever at all. Like every 60 or 70 pass attempts or so since his sophomore year in college, or not counting his freshman year anyway. And early on in his NFL career, he's really avoiding the interceptions well enough too, and I think his opponent doesn't have that he's up against in Arizona hasn't really been anything great for getting interceptions. So I really was close to coming in thinking, oh boy, that's going to be a good play, but the one thing that really took me off on it is how he consistently threw one interception, but never two, in so many games in his senior year in college. But his statistics in college, well, his second year in college, he hardly threw any at all. In his third year, must have been injured because he didn't get many stats at all. But he threw no interceptions in the second year. His fourth year, again, his final year, a lot of times he threw one, not even a few times, maybe 40% of the time I think he threw 0, 60% one, and then no 0-2s or something in his senior year, something like that. And he's got one interception in his earliest career so far in the NFL, with a better sample size of pass attempts now. Thank you for tuning in. And so as far as picks are concerned, I a lot of times a great play, I might have no choice but to release really damn early, just because it's when I get the information for it, and that it's just the time of day when it happens. Hopefully more times than not, I will be able to get it like this case scenario here. This is well more than a day and plus change, because I'll be releasing this at the conclusion of Thursday night rather. So all of Friday and then most of Saturday before we get to see Robert Tonyan in action. Thank you for tuning in. Have yourself a great day. Bye-bye. And the delay for me turning this off is because I have to... Just my mouse had to... I accidentally dropped it on the floor, and then I have to pick it back up, and now I can push the stop button. Thank you for tuning in.